Back here on the John Fourcade Show, and this is our segment where we spotlight some of the top players from the state of Louisiana, Southeast Conference, or really all across the nation, entering the 2016 NFL Draft. And we want to congratulate Harlan Miller, a cornerback from southeastern Louisiana, young man from Kentwood, 6 foot, 180 pounds, got invited to the prestigious Senior Bowl in Mobile, Alabama. Had some injuries that he fought through this year, John, but he's a good-sized cornerback, excellent foot speed. He can also return punts for you. And I did the show, TV show and radio show with Tim Rebo last week. And Tim, a former defensive back coach at UL Lafayette, told me he's the best player in the Southland Conference on defense. And I thought that was pretty telling. And he said, you know, after the game, I went up to him and shook his hand and told him, man, you one stud football player. So congratulations to Harlan Miller from Southeastern. Now that's two players, defensive back-wise, over the last couple of years from Southeastern that going on to the pros and that played at the Senior Bowl.
Well, that's the whole key to it. No matter where you go, they'll find you if you want to play in the NFL. And I try telling kids this all the time, son, if you want to go play football somewhere, get an opportunity. And he got an opportunity in Southeast Louisiana. They had a rough season this year. He only played 5 games. The team only won 3 football games. It's not the Southeast you've seen in the past. But
losing Brian Bennett hurt.
But they still get NFL scouts looking at you. And you know what? When the Senior Bowl can go into you and say, we want to bring you into the Senior Bowl and get scouted by the scouts in the NFL, because you know how many NFL scouts and coaches and players and everybody else that goes to the Senior Bowl. My hat goes off to the young man. Only playing in 5 games, 4 interceptions this season. For Coach Rebo to say that he's the best player he's seen all year long, only playing 5 football games. But it just goes to show you what kind of guy he is. 6 foot, 185 pounds, can play cornerback and return guy. NFL looks for these players, because let me tell you something, with the most players they have on a roster in the NFL is that DB position. They got 9, 10, 12 of them, because you go through those guys like crazy.
You know, you think about Southeastern, Robert Alford got picked 2nd round by the Falcons a few years back, and now Harlan gets his opportunity. So congratulations to Harlan Miller. Also to Louisiana Tech, 3 players now. They got crushed by Southern Miss. Boy, what a job Todd Monken's done.
Yes, he did.
At Southern Miss. But, you know, Victor Butler, the big defensive lineman, got invited to the Senior Bowl. Jeff Driscoll at quarterback, and Kenneth Dixon, the running back, who basically broke every rushing record at Louisiana Tech. So those 3, along with Harlan Miller, hasn't been fully announced yet, but we'll announce it next week when it becomes official. 3 guys from LSU also going, has accepted invitations to the Senior Bowl. One of the players that we've seen for the last couple of years, and he's a dominant guy, when you play a 3-4 defense, you better have a nose guard that can take care of business. Alabama's got one, and they Shawn Robinson, and we've seen plenty of him. 6'4", now 320. I want to get on that scale, because there ain't no way he's 320 pounds. I mean, I guarantee you he's pushing that 340 mark pretty good. 39 tackles, 3 sacks from the inside, but it's his ability, John, to clog up everything, multiple blocks he takes on, and he's kind of the heart and soul. Reggie Ragland's a terrific middle linebacker for him, and they've got the guys on the other 2 sides that can make plays too and could possibly be first-round picks. But when you have a 3-4 defense, that nose guard is the most important position on the team. They got a stud in Shawn Robinson.
Well, that's why their defense is always ranked the way they are, because Alabama goes out and gets players who can play the defensive front line, and especially nose guard. You can go back last 10 years in Alabama, and you know they had good quality nose guards that have played and went off to play in some NFL.
Marcel Darius,
yes,
one of them.
This young man right here has got a golden opportunity. But you're right. What he does is he clogs up the middle enough for the running game. He can take care of center and 2 guards. That's 3 guys he takes care of, where he lets the guys behind him make the initial tackles or makes the stop at the line of scrimmage. And that's the big thing about the defensive line. They only do it with 7 guys up front, because they rotate a lot of guys in there. So their backup guys are as good as their starting guys right now. So it just goes to show you he's one of many that Alabama has up front.
You and I had this talk right after the LSU game. I knew LSU was in trouble on the 2nd play of the offensive game for LSU when he forklift Ethan Posick right back into the lap of Brandon Harris. And my thing is, if he's doing that to, I think, the 2nd best player on LSU's team, LSU's in a lot of trouble. But, you know, kind of switching over to LSU a little bit, you know, that's what Kevin Steele wants to run. He wants to run that 3-4 alignment at LSU. LSU doesn't have anybody on the roster that can play that nose guard position. Nothing close to an Shawn Robinson. Now, I think they're recruiting guys that could potentially play that spot. But, man, you're an 18-year-old kid trying to play that nose guard position in the SEC. That's a big jump, John. I'm just telling you.
It is. It's easy to play, the 4-3 defense. You can spread them out a little bit. You get them off that center. It's hard to find someone that's big enough and thick enough who wants to play that nose guard position, because you're getting hit from guards and centers. You're getting shots blown at you that you don't see that much. But if LSU wants to step in that territory, they want to move it to a 3-4 defense. They got to find someone like Robinson to play that middle.
Yeah, I know one thing. When you look at Davin Godchaux, he's more of a defensive end,
right?
Size-wise. Lewis Neal's a real small defensive end. Arden Key's really an outside linebacker type. I think we're going through a transition thing at LSU. You look at the guys that they're bringing in. Coach O's bringing in. Kevin Steele's bringing in. The size of the defensive linemen and the outside linebackers and inside linebackers, totally different than what they've done in the past. They relied on the speed people. Today, they're putting a lot more bulk into their recruiting.
They need to. After watching what they have done with those 3 games they lost in a row, they got to get bigger and physically on defense.
Because, again, you play Arkansas, Ole Miss, and LSU again in Alabama next week. We'll have a lot more here on the John Fourcade Show, sponsored each week by Veterans Ford.